In this word problem, Dylan is filling a 20-gallon tank and a 30-gallon tank for his fish display. The 20-gallon tank contains 4 gallons of water and is filled at a constant rate of 10 gallons per hour. All right, whenever we see the word rate, we should be thinking of rate of change or slope. And this gets me thinking that perhaps we're going to be dealing with y equals mx plus b type equations. So if I'm thinking y equals mx plus b, and I'm thinking of filling at 10 gallons per hour, that would suggest that x is the number of hours. Now, the 20-gallon tank already contains 4 gallons of water, so that's the starting value. And that would leave me with y representing the total number of gallons in the tank. All right, then there's also a 30-gallon tank, which contains 13 gallons of water already. So that's the y-intercept, or the starting value for that tank. And it is filled at a constant rate of 7 gallons per hour. So gallons per hour is a slope. So now that we see we have a system of 2 equations written in that slope-intercept form, and we can solve. As we've done previously, when we're solving with 2 equations where y is already alone, right? Y is already alone. It makes sense to take that first, I don't know why it's not writing, that first expression and substitute it in for the other y. So that gives me 7x plus 13 is equal to 10x plus 4. Because notice it says, when do they contain the same amount of water? Notice it only says when. So that means when we find x, the number of hours will be all done. We won't actually have to find both x and y for this particular problem. Let's subtract 7x from both sides. 13 is equal to 3x plus 4, and subtract 4 from both sides, so that 9 is equal to 3x. Dividing both sides by 3, we see that x is equal to 3. So after 3 hours, the tanks will contain the same amount of water. But there's a catch. If you think about 3 hours, so if we have the tank that fills at 10 gallons per hour for 3 hours, and it started with 4 gallons of water in it, that's going to have 34 gallons of water in it after 3 hours. But it was only a 20-gallon tank. So we actually have a problem. This tank would be overflowing after 3 hours. Now, the 30-gallon tank fills at 13 gallons, and it starts with, it fills at 7 gallons per hour, and it starts with 13. So that's 21 plus 13, or 34 gallons, as we would expect. Notice it can't contain that amount either. So actually, they'll never contain the same amount. So we have to take out our answer, and we have to say, after 3 hours, both would contain the same amount, but would be overflowing because 34 gallons is more than they can hold. So there's a bit of a trick to this particular question.